Professor Lee, you mentioned that it's worthwhile to talk about our worldviews. This question is for both speakers. Do you think colleges should be doing more to graduate students who are literate in worldviews and philosophies and have the skills to engage in conversations like tonight's?
Am I allowed just to say yes?
Yes. Well, maybe just, why are we hesitant to?
Uh,
Because professors like to profess, but it seems to be about certain subjects they don't want to.
Yes, I think we have become so tiptoesy about things like that we think are sensitive. We think that certain things will offend people, but I think that if we cannot at schools like ours model for the world how to agreeably disagree and to take seriously these questions that are difficult, then I don't know why we are here.
I think it's a really important question because I would like to ask a little bit, because when you think about the two, this is again oversimplifying things, but when you think about the two, at least I see two major forces shaping world dynamics today. Engaging them critically and in public is very challenging. So one is kind of the neoliberal model of capitalism, and the second is religion. These two forces right now are just, when you look around, they're reordering political systems, reordering the way people think about how they participate in public life. They're reordering, even in our own nation, our capacities to bridge or not bridge across divides. And yet, if they're, part of the reason is that we don't have the capacities to discuss these things, what the skills are. What are the capacities that we need in order to discuss such difficult, sensitive subjects that often go to the core of one's own identity and one's sense of self?
Yes. Yeah, it's both a wonderful question and a wonderful follow-up. And I, too, will answer immediately yes. And then in terms of the implications of all of this, I think that's exactly right. I think on the one hand, we have neoliberalism truly reorganizing the entire world, and sadly, that ceased to become even a significant topic of debate. In many classes, that's just presented as proper, for example, proper economics, that's the way the economic world should and does operate, and it's not debated. And then on the other hand, you have another force, religion, and yet that, ironically, certainly is a topic of debate, but not in forms like this, because oftentimes it's a topic of debate at universities in which each group will talk amongst themselves, but you're not getting real dialogue going on. And particularly, you're not getting real dialogue with the entire issue of, for example, neoliberalism. So yes, what we desperately need are more forums like this, where everything is on the table, where we can actually ask the big questions. We can ask, in terms of neoliberalism, are we building a type of good society? We've now been living in a neoliberal world since roughly 1980s, 1990s, depending on how one defines it. It has created all sorts of implications. Let's debate those. Let us debate the type of world we're creating. And if there are good things, how can we build on those? If there are dangerous things, and clearly there are, how do we work against those? And in terms of religion, clearly, what values should we be having? And could we actually bring those values into play in our discussions of what type of a society to build? And can we create spaces, and where better than a university, by all means, in which we can truly debate values and truly open up our students to really thinking in a concrete way through how do I live my life? What type of a society do I build? What are the implications of having certain types of values? How does one put those into play? And if we are failing as a university, and I mean not just here, but in general, to create a space in which those are active topics of debate, and I think we need to be honest that we are in part failing, then we actively need to start creating a shift where precisely these issues, values, building a good society, how to live a flourishing life, are at the center of our discussions in forums like this, in the classrooms, etc.